The ocean is the largest unexplored place on Earth. And if you watch part 1, you already know just how many mythical creatures, legendary sea creatures, and ancient sea monsters might not be myths at all. This is part 2. Once again, we're diving beneath the waves into stories told by sailors, fishermen, and entire civilization stories of massive shapes moving under ships, creatures larger than buses, and shadows so big they made the sea itself feel alive. And if you haven't seen part 1 yet, you'll definitely want to check it out after this. But for now, let's continue the descent. 1. The Giant Sea Serpent. For centuries, sailors across the world described the same terrifying sight: a massive, serpent-like creature rising from the ocean, its body stretching longer than their ship, its coils cutting through the water with deliberate control. These weren't isolated stories. Reports of giant sea serpents appear in Norse records, British naval logs, and even official sightings by trained officers. One of the most famous occurred in 1848 when the crew of HMS Daedalus reported a serpent at least 60 feet long, swimming alongside their ship for several minutes. Multiple officers signed sworn statements. The report was taken seriously. Skeptics later suggested misidentified whales or oarfish, but witnesses consistently described a raised head, a neck-like structure, and movement that didn't match known animals. Modern deep-sea exploration continues to reveal long, eel-like creatures adapted to extreme depths. So the question isn't whether sea serpents could exist, it's whether we've already seen one and didn't understand what we were looking at. 2. The Morgawr. Along the coast of Cornwall, fishermen have reported seeing something moving through the water for centuries, something long, dark, and deliberate. They call it the Morgawr. Witnesses describe a creature with a long neck, a powerful body, and rolling humps that rise and vanish in sequence. Nets have been found crushed rather than torn, as if something heavy had pressed down from above. Boats have reported sudden swells with no visible cause, even on calm days. In the 1970s, several photographs emerged showing a serpentine shape beneath the surface near Falmouth Bay. Skeptics dismissed them as fakes or misidentified debris, but one detail stood out. The creature appeared to be swimming directly against the current. Some paleontologists have speculated that the Morgawr might resemble an unknown deep-diving marine reptile, or even a surviving plesiosaur-like animal adapted to colder waters. And while that may sound impossible, history warns against certainty. In 1938, scientists were stunned when a fisherman caught a coelacanth, a species believed extinct for 66 million years. It was alive, unchanged, and thriving in deep waters no one thought to look. If something that ancient could survive unnoticed, then maybe the Morgawr was never a legend. Maybe it was just better at hiding. 3. The devil whale. It wasn't a tale told in hushed voices or passed down through generations of superstition. This sea monster appeared in official ship logs. Not once, not twice, dozens of times. Its name was simple, ominous: the devil whale. In some logs, the devil whale is described with a scarred, weathered hide, long dorsal, ridges not seen in any known species, and eyes set farther forward, giving it a disturbingly predatory gaze, more like a killer whale than a baleen feeder. One American whaling captain in 1820 wrote of a black leviathan, deliberate and unafraid, that struck his vessel twice before vanishing into the deep. This was no passing glimpse or sailor's exaggeration. It was logged, signed, and sworn under oath. Historians believe these encounters may point to a now extinct or undocumented whale, species perhaps a hyper-aggressive variant of a sperm whale, or even a remnant of an older evolutionary branch with territorial instincts long since lost in modern whales. And when you consider what already exists in our oceans, whales the size of school buses, giant squid with beaks strong enough to slice bone, and sharks older than trees, the idea of a forgotten, hostile whale doesn't seem so far-fetched. Because not all sea monsters are myths. Some of them were simply seen and then never seen again. And maybe the devil whale wasn't a legend. Maybe it was a survivor. A final warning from the deep, written in ink by the hands of men who watched it rise and vanish. But what if it didn't disappear? What if it's still out there in waters no satellite ever scans, deeper than any sonar has, touched, waiting for the next ship? 4. The Colossal Squid. For centuries, sailors spoke of enormous tentacled creatures attacking ships, stories that inspired legends of the Kraken. For a long time, science dismissed them completely. Then, we found the Colossal Squid. This real documented animal can grow over 45 feet long, weighs nearly half a ton, and has the largest eyes ever recorded in the animal kingdom, each one as big as a basketball. What makes this unsettling is that we've never filmed a full-grown adult alive in its natural habitat. We know they exist. We just don't know how big they can truly get. Deep-sea biologists believe some individuals may grow far larger than any specimen we've recovered, especially since these animals live in parts of the ocean we rarely reach. Yet, imagine encountering one of these creatures in the dark. Tentacles longer than a fishing boat. Eyes reflecting light from hundreds of feet away. Suddenly, the old stories don't feel exaggerated anymore. They feel incomplete. 5. The Steller sea ape. In 1741, naturalist Georg Wilhelm Steller reported seeing something strange swimming near his ship. It had thick fur, a rounded head, expressive eyes, and moved with deliberate, almost playful motion. Steller insisted it wasn't a seal or sea lion. He was an experienced observer. And this creature behaved differently, more upright, more controlled. Some researchers suggest these sightings could point to an unknown aquatic primate or a now extinct coastal hominin adapted to cold waters. It sounds unbelievable until you remember that humans themselves evolved near water, and the ocean has erased entire branches of life before. 6. The Nuckelavee sea form. Most people know the Nuckelavee as a land-based nightmare from Scottish folklore. A skinless, horse-like demon, fused with a rider, feared for bringing disease and death. But fewer know that older, less popular accounts describe something even stranger. A version of the Nuckelavee that came from the sea. According to early maritime legends, this marine form was no twisted centaur. It was massive, shapeless, and terrifying. Sailors spoke of dark, rising masses that surfaced near. Their boats, silent at first, but radiating something primal. A pressure in the air, a weight in the chest. Panic would set in before the creature even moved. They described limbs long, jointed, powerful, briefly visible, before vanishing beneath crashing waves. The sea itself would churn violently around it, as if something far larger than a whale had risen and sunk again in seconds. No sound, just chaos in the water. And then silence. Some historians suggest these sightings may have been caused by large marine mammals, sperm whales, giant rays, or even rare group behaviors of orcas in fog. But none of those explanations match the descriptions of size or presence. Whatever these sailors saw didn't just appear, it disrupted everything around it. And if something like that surfaced beside a modern vessel today, the sheer shock, the sudden shift in water pressure, might be enough to capsize the ship before anyone even sees what caused it. What if the Nuckelavee wasn't just a nightmare from the land? What if it came from below, and it was never alone? 7. The shadow below. This final entry has a name now, but for centuries it didn't, because no one who saw it could describe what it was, only what it did. From ancient Polynesian navigators to modern Scandinavian fishermen, the story is always the same. A ship moves through calm water. The sea is still. The sky is clear. Then suddenly, a massive shadow passes beneath the hull. No breach, no splash, just motion, slow, vast, and silent. longer than the vessel, wider than any known whale, no fins, no face, no features. Only the overwhelming sense that something enormous is watching from below. Even in modern times, deep-sea sonar occasionally picks up strange signals, shapes, moving through the ocean's darkest trenches, hundreds of meters long. Too fast, too smooth, and gone before they can be tracked. Most are dismissed as glitches, sensor echoes, equipment errors. But if even one of them wasn't, then something colossal still lives in the deep, unseen, unidentified, and far beyond anything we understand. That is the shadow below. The deeper we explore the ocean, the more we realize how little we truly understand. Maybe these legendary sea creatures were exaggerated. Maybe they were misidentified animals. Or maybe they were early encounters with life forms we haven't discovered yet. If you enjoyed the second dive into mythical creatures and sea monsters, make sure you're subscribed and don't forget to turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because the ocean still has secrets left to reveal.